guys, welcome back to another video. Cheers, by the way. I'm in the middle of a 3-day weekend. I'm in the middle of filming a vlog, and I wanted to do something because one of the videos that I love watching are taste test videos, and I think I love watching them because I like watching people find out something new about their reading styles and their reading likes. So I've decided that I would like to do that. There's one person I want to do first, and that is Merphy Napier, because she reads a lot of fantasy, and she seems to be a very critical reader, and I just feel like I've read a lot of YA fantasy lately, and I feel like I want something a little bit more serious, and I think that she'll get me there. So my plan is to go through her 2019 stats video, which I just started sort of watching a little bit, and see what books she talks about as being 5-star reads from last year. And I will go ahead and pick books from there. So I'm just gonna put these in so we can rock and roll, and I'm gonna start screen recording, and let's do this. And I have wine, of course, because we're watching videos, so we should have wine.
And again, Perpetual Page Turner has a blog that does the end of the year survey. So let's do it. Let's go. I'm not going to answer all of these because there's too many questions, but I'll scroll through and do the interesting ones. Best book I read in 2018. I don't know. Last year, I was so sure of my answer. Last year, I was positive how I felt about my favorite and least favorite books. And this year, what is my favorite? It's tough. I didn't have like books that were incredible this year like I've had in years past. I've had books that I've loved.
I feel like I
Red
need to
Seas
go
Under
back
Red
to
Skies,
2018.
which I always get comments about because people either love this book or hate it. And I loved it so.
Red Seas Under Red Skies. We're gonna have to look that one up. I need a pen. I got my old lady glasses on too. Red Seas Under Red Skies, huh? Well, it's called Red Seas Under Red Skies, and it's apparently Gentleman Bastards by Scott Lynch. Interesting. Okay. Adrenaline-filled adventure with a band of daring thieves led by con artist extraordinaire Locke Lamora. Now Lynch brings back his outrageous hero for a caper so death-defying. Oh, okay, wait, so is this the second in a series? The Lies of Locke Lamora is the first. So I guess that's what we have to go with, right? Because you have to go with the first one. So I'm gonna just make a little Amazon cart here, and we're gonna add it. So we got our one book. I'm gonna try to pick 5 books. This is my secret TBR for the month.
Most surprising in a good way or a bad way book that you read. That has to be The Name of the Wind, because I didn't know if I was gonna love it. Some of my very good friends didn't like this book very much. Daniel Green, Elliot Brooks, and several of my friends love it. Jay, of course, is the obvious one that loves it so much. So I didn't know how I would feel about it. And I kind of just expected, when a book has a lot of hype and a lot of mixed reviews, I tend to sit right in the middle. I'm like, it was okay. I see why people like it. I see why people don't like it. I was fine with it. So I guess I kind of expected for it to be a 3-star book, and I was afraid I was gonna hate it, and I ended up loving it. Book you pushed the most.
Alright, book 2, Name of the Wind. That's easy. I have that. It just arrived the other day. Perfect. We don't need to buy it
to read.
There we go.
Does that series you started in 2019? Best series I started this year? Ooh, things are starting to blend together, and it's hard for me to remember what I started this year and what I started last year. I want to say the first Law trilogy, but I only read the first book in 2019, so I don't even own a lot of books that I've been reading this year. I'm scrolling through my books read list, and I'm gonna go with the first Law trilogy because it certainly has the most potential. There were other books like The Fifth Season that had an amazing start, and I thought it would make my favorite series list, and then the second 2 books let me down, so it didn't make that list. So I'm gonna go with First Law, and I'm just gonna cross my fingers that it'll follow through. Best sequel of 2018, of course, is gonna be Red Seas.
First Law. We're gonna throw that right in there. We got $3. Let's keep going.
Underread.
Let's see what she's got.
Books that I could talk about here because I did a really good job of stepping outside of my comfort zone in 2019. And I would say Isaac Asimov is definitely the best author that I found through that. I also loved Pet Sematary. This year was the first year that I read any Stephen King. And
She had to say Stephen King, didn't she? I really just don't think I'm gonna like Stephen King, but we can give it a try.
I loved Pet Sematary so much.
Cemetery.
Book you read in 2019 that you would be the most likely to reread next year? There's a lot that I want to reread, but I think the answer is going to be Wuthering Heights, because I started this book expecting to dislike it because I went into it because my friend hated it, so I was excited to hate read it and discuss it with her, and I fell in love with it, and I went in with the wrong perspective, and I went in with the wrong understanding of what this book's purpose is. So now that I feel like I have a better concept of the purpose of this book and what it's delivering to me, I really want to reread it and give it a proper dedicated review and really get out of it what was
the characters
meant to
are
be
all
gotten
still
out of
gonna
it.
be terrible people.
Most memorable character of 2019. I'm gonna go with Spensa. This is my gut reaction. Maybe there's someone that would be better for this, but my gut reaction is Spensa because she's the character that has stuck with me the most from Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. She is what 16-year-old Merphy looked like, or maybe closer to 15-year-old Merphy, but anyway, she is oh man, I love her so much. She's been through a lot and she's working through her issues, and the way she works through it is by putting up her guard and by being really aggressive and insulting and keeping people at arm's length except for her very closest people. She puts on a front. She wants people to see her as tough and untouchable, and she doesn't want anyone to know how badly she's hurting. And the way she carries herself and the way she portrays herself and the way she wants people to see her and the way she truly is.
Okay, I didn't really want any YA, but we're gonna put this as a maybe on there. Because I know that lots of people like Brandon Sanderson, which I've never read any Brandon Sanderson. People really like Skyward. So it's on my list as a maybe.
15, 16-year-old Merphy when I was working through my own stuff and didn't know how to do it well and responded by putting up a guard and being aggressive. And it took me a while to break down those barriers and to become a little bit more well-balanced. And Spensa is a character. It's really funny because I was watching Brandon Sanderson's interview Daniel's interview with Brandon Sanderson, and I remember him saying that like he really struggled being a 40-year-old man writing a 16, 17-year-old girl, and he's like, I want to write her well, I want to write her accurately, so I need teenage girls to be reading my book before it's published to let me know if I'm doing it right. And that really stuck with me because I remember like pausing the interview and turning to Corey and being like, this is the
Okay, here's the problem with that one comment is that I've just recently read My Dark Vanessa, and I'm like, 40-year-old man, teenage girls, they're hitting like bells and whistles. I'm not saying anything about Brandon Sanderson. I'm sure he's a lovely person, but my brain can't put those two facts together post reading My Dark Vanessa without going straight to the subject matter of My Dark Vanessa, because that book is still like holding strong with me, and probably will, because it's definitely
one
like
time that I've read a YA book and actually felt seen and like a character looks exactly like me. Obviously everybody's different, everybody's had their own experiences, so people are going to see themselves in different characters, but if you want to know 15, 16-year-old Merphy, because she
I mean, they do look very similar. Like, if you look at the covers, like Merphy and this girl from Skyward, I mean, they could be.
looks really different than 27-year-old Merphy, read Skyward because that was me. So I don't know if she's my favorite character, but she's certainly my most memorable. Best book you've read that you read based solely on recommendation from someone else. That has to be Pet Sematary, right? For my birthday, Daniel sent me Pet Sematary
Again with Pet
as a
Sematary.
gift. And it was my first Stephen King book, and it was
I'm reading Stephen
incredible.
King
It was
this
one of my
month,
favorite
and I
books
do
of the
not
year.
like Stephen King.
So I never would have picked that. I wasn't even really interested in trying Stephen King before that book, and I definitely had no interest in Pet Sematary. So if I was going to pick up a Stephen King book, that would be really low on the list. And I picked it up just because he sent it to me, and It was one of the best books I read this year. It was incredible. I think about it all the time. Okay, last question that I'm going to end this on, even though there's a lot more questions to the bookish survey, and of course it'll be linked in the description if you want to check it out. But the question that I'm going to end it on is best hidden gem. On Lunatime, which is a time travel romance, which is totally not the sort of thing that I normally read, but it is so good. It is perfectly complex while being super easy to understand. It's romantic, it's cute, and it has a huge emphasis on family and finding your family again that you lost. And it's just a really fun, cute read. It is self-published, which is why I say it's a hidden gem, because a lot of times people don't find those self-published books as easily. I've talked about it a lot on my channel, but there you go. I talked about it again.
Okay, so what did we learn from this? We learned from this that I really don't want to read Stephen King. We also learned that I think we're actually going to pick 6 books. It's not going to be 5, it's going to be 6. So this is what I've walked away with from my taste challenge for Merphy Napier, is going to be On Lunatime, because I like that that is thrown in there as like a twist, because sometimes you need to break up the fantasy. Skyward by Sanderson, because I don't know, she did just an amazing job selling that to me, and I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna do that. Pet Sematary. I'm gonna see if I can get Pet Sematary from the library or something on my Libby, because I have no interest in reading this book at all. So I don't really want to buy it. Like, I don't want to own it. Like, I have no desire to own that book. So we're gonna try to get that from Libby. The first Law trilogy sounds very interesting. And that's by Joe Abercrombie, which is why it sounds interesting, because I've heard good things about him, but I've never read anything. I've got The Name of the Wind already, and this Scott Lynch, The Lies of Loch Lamora, this Gentleman Bastards thing. I mean, it's called the Gentleman Bastards trilogy. Like, I have to read that. So those are the 6 secret TBR books that I will be reading in the month of May. I just need to figure out how to get them, and I will be back once I've read them all with my thoughts and things on each of them as I read them throughout the month. So yeah, I'm excited for my first taste test. Hi, I feel like we're really close to my face. Hi, so yeah, I've done nothing for this taste test. That's what we're calling it, taste test. And it is May 7th. So yeah, but I've been collecting the books. So the only book I managed to find for free was Pet Sematary, which I have. The Libby audiobook is almost expired, so I'm gonna have to start reading that like tomorrow. And I think I have an ebook version of it that came through Scribd, so like somehow I'll read it. I have The Name of the Wind that I had ordered before I decided to do this taste test thing, and then this arrived the other day, last night this arrived on Lunatime. And it sounds like it's kind of fantasy. It's like super short. I don't really understand how to describe this one, but there's like time travel and women and like a lake, and I don't know if there's romance involved or something, but I'm going to read that today because I just finished a book, because for some reason I agreed to attempt to read 30 books this month, because one of my friends reads like 30 some odd books a month, so there's a whole bunch of us trying to read them. So when I complete On Lunatime, this will be book 9 for the month. So much reading to do. Thankfully, I got flexed off from work today, so I have more time to read. But this guy's nice and short, so I'll get this done. We're gonna fortify with wine. But first, I have to get out of my scrubs and get comfortable and cleaned up so that I can just snuggle in and read. I feel like I'm really close. Am I really close? I don't know. Sorry, I haven't vlogged in a few days. I don't remember what I'm doing. But Hemi also cannot figure out where to go with his toy. What are you doing? Oh, you're on camera now? So you don't want people to know that you play? You want to be serious? You're serious, Doug? Yes. He's very serious. Anyway, to the reading. Okay, so hopefully my hair is not still doing antennae. That was fun. I love baby hairs. They're great. Never gonna change. Sometimes they make me have antennae. I might be an alien. Anyway, I am like just around the 100-page mark of Luna Time, and I have one real issue with this book, and that is the plot hole of. So essentially, let's start with what this book is. So basically, this is a beautiful story about this family of women who can, on their 18th birthday, make this leap in this one spot, and they can go back in time to, I don't know, for a number of days, and I guess meet the women in their past, and which is lovely, all for it. But our main character, Vanessa, her mother sends her these cryptic letters. This is the beginning of the book, sort of vaguely explaining this, and gives her like money and stuff and some brief instructions on what to do when she does her leap. Fine. But how does this work? I'm fairly certain she gives her a check and says, cash this check, right? It's, contemporary to me, so let's just say it's 2020. It might be like 2017, but we're gonna go with it, 2020. She's taking a leap back in time to not 2020, because it's back in time, but she's cashed a check for cash, and I highly doubt that the money she's now spending all around town in this small town is circa the time period she's in. Because it's not like she's jumping back to like 1990 or 1980. She's jumping back like 70 years. She doesn't have 70-year-old money. You don't go to the bank and cash a check and get 70-year-old money. So I know that I shouldn't get hung up on this. And I should just enjoy the lovely story, because it is lovely and atmospheric and sweet. But how is that going to work? How is it going to work? Someone from work's calling me. I gotta go. Good morning. I feel like other booktubers and book vloggers actually put an effort into their appearance. I don't. So I work again today. It's my last day of 3, and dogs are eating. So that's all the clanking. Move, please. It's the last day of 3. My kitchen's a filthy mess because it's the last day of 3. And I'm on call tonight. So once I do that, I'm off for 4 days in a row. So I'm going to make a huge dent in my regular TBR and my taste test TBR. But I wanted to pop in and say that I finished on Luna Time. And it was super cute, and despite my rant about money, I still think that that's a major plot hole. I did love it, and I ordered the second one. And I listened to the audiobook because this is independently published and it's an independent author, and I just really like to spend as much money as I can when it's that situation. So just to support the authors, because I think that indie authors don't get everything they deserve. So, finish this. I don't know what I'm gonna rate this. I don't really like rating things. The dogs are gonna fight in a second. I'd say maybe 3.5 stars. It was cute. I want to hear the rest of the story. I like the time traveling. Merphy Napier actually narrated the audiobooks as well, and she did a beautiful job. So it's magical, it's lovely, it's just sweet. You want to jump into it. Like 3.5 stars. 3.5 stars. Like, you can't go wrong. And then I guess the other thing I have to do today, because I have it. I mean, I have a lot of books to read, obviously, if I'm trying to read 30 books in 30 days. But the next thing for me to do on the taste test is get the dogs to stop fucking barking at each other. So the next thing I need to do is start this lovely book that I'm not really excited about. I've only ever read one Stephen King, and that was because it was short and it fulfilled the prompt for my owls. I don't really like Stephen King in general. Like, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm hoping this is better. I got it on audiobook so I can focus, because if I have the same problem where my eyes glazed over with the last book, if it does it on this one, I'm not going to be able to read this. But we're going to see if I like Pet Sematary. So that's the goal. I'm going to finish the book I am reading right now. I'm going to start listening to this in the car on the way to work, and I will check back in when I have a thought on this or when I'm done with it. But I really hope that it's not terrible. The other thing is tomorrow, all of the rest of my books should come, so the other 3 that I'm missing should come. Also, my wine comes today. So I'm gonna have some coffee. I'm gonna finish listening to my book. That isn't any of the books for this, and I'm gonna get the dogs to stop eating things. Hey, hey, hey. So I'm just gonna get my day going, and I will check back in when I have an answer on my thoughts on Pet Sematary, and I really hope that I like it. So far, this was good. I don't trust Stephen King. Good morning. I am going to take this hair off of my camera. Good morning. I woke up and I know that they said it was going to snow, and it's not a lot of snow, but it's crazy that there's snow, and tomorrow's Mother's Day. It's May. Anyway, so I've been reading Pet Sematary, and I will say it's not that bad. I'm probably about 40-50% through, and it's better than that little novella I read, which is good. And I have been listening to the audiobook, which I think helped, because they kind of do some good voicing and add some character to the story, so that helps. But I will reserve my final thoughts until the end. And it is Saturday. It's the beginning of my 4 days off. I am going to walk the dog, which is what I'm doing right now. But I wanted to show you guys the snow. And I have some books coming today, and the geese are going crazy. And yeah, so I'm gonna try to finish Pet Sematary this weekend. Maybe start The Name of the Wind, because that's the big chunker that I know is a big chunker. And then I think I have at least 2 more books coming today, including Skyward and the Joe Abercrombie book. But there's one more that's not coming till the end of the month. So I don't know if this vlog is going to get wrapped up in June or May. It's going to depend on when that book arrives. So yeah, let's go for a walk with the doggos. Interrupt this walk to bring you. Do you see the ducklings? Sorry, the geeselings? I don't know if you can see them. Stay here, ducks. Look at them. Alright, I think you can see me now. So I finished Pet Sematary. What do I have to say about this book? Okay, so like this was fine. It just like, I'm glad I didn't spend money on Pet Sematary. I'm glad I read it. It was entertaining. It was not scary in any way, shape, or form, and I think this is supposed to be one of the spookier ones. It was not scary. I questioned certain things, like Judd's motivation to bury the cat that starts the whole thing with this book, and like how you bury things in the certain spot in the Pet Sematary and then they all come back to life. I'm not spoiling anything. If you don't know that that's what this book's about, then like where have you been? Because the whole world knows that that's what this book's about. So like his whole motivation, because he gives the dad Lewis like his whole reason for why he like brings him to this spot and has him bury the cat, and so it's also he can teach the daughter a lesson about how sometimes dead is better. Why would you bring, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like as a way to drive the plot. It makes no sense to me. I just don't get the motivation to do that. And then there's just like phrases he uses a lot. He says dead is better. I don't even know how many times, but it's got to be at least 12 times in the book. And I know that that's like a big phrase, but I feel like it would be more poignant if he used it like once or twice, not 20 times in the book. And like he keeps saying that his daughter, there's one stretch where he is talking to his daughter and he says multiple times in a conversation, and then she gave me that Faye look she has. Like she has no other look. That's the only way she looks at you. There's no other way to describe that look. You're just gonna say that. She's gonna say something. You're gonna say something, and then you're gonna say again that she gives you the Faye look. Sorry, dogs are done fighting. So I just don't think Stephen King is for me. Now you get to hear the lovely sounds of Turbo eating behind the camera. But I just don't think that Stephen King is my author. And I know that in general, his writing is very like hit or miss. It's not bad. I mean, there's parts that were really well written. I just don't think he's for me. Could go on a tangent here for a second. This guy's a doctor. It's 1983, 3 or 4 in the story. This young infant son gets a fever, a high fever, vomiting virus. He even says it's a virus. And then he says that he's giving his son aspirin. I'm fairly certain that you don't give children under a certain age aspirin for a fever in case it is a virus, because then you can give them another disease that will kill them. And maybe I only noticed this because I'm a nurse, but it really freaking bothered me. Because the whole book, all he does is take aspirin. I'm like, they made Tylenol. I know they had Tylenol. I was born in 1983. I know they had Tylenol. Why are you trying to kill your son? This whole time I thought that was how his son was gonna die, and I was gonna be like, well, of course you killed your son. I give up. The book was fine. 3 stars. Everyone's barking. Gotta make it stop. I think the fur children have calmed down. So far, the first 2 books, like, I get why someone would like On Luna Time. I think that Merphy Napier's narration of the audiobook for On Luna Time was great. Pet Sematary, I don't know why it's one of somebody's favorite books of the year. Like, I gotta look up and see exactly what rating she gave it, because I know that she mentions it as one of her favorites of the year, but I don't think it's a 5-star. And I definitely think it's like a 3-star for me. But with that being said, glad I read it. Now I know. I don't think it's for me. Can you stop breathing heavily at me like a creep? Yes, I love you. And I think what I'm going to do is take care of this very needy child. God, is he needy? And maybe start The Name of the Wind, because this is a chunker. Like, she is thick. It is May 10th today. I've read 14 books out of what I'm supposed to be trying for is 30. I don't know who in their right mind, well, I don't know why in my right mind I agreed to that. Especially with like this on the docket, which I knew was on the docket for this month, but I'm just gonna start reading because I need to get this done. Yeah, but first I need to take care of this thing. Yeah, you need to be taken care of. You are the neediest dog in the whole wide world. Do you know that? So, it's time for a little update. I think it's been a few days since I updated this vlog. Sorry, I'm just getting my head straight here today. It's been a very long week. It is technically Saturday, and I am 400 pages into The Name of the Wind, and I am absolutely loving it. I'm trying really hard not to devour it. I'm tapping the Jesus out of it. There's so many like amazing quotes and just things that are happening that I want to flag just in case they become important later in this story or in the next or in the third, if that should ever be published. I'm absolutely loving it. It's lyrical and beautiful, and because Scribd had it on on audiobook. I've been listening to it while I've been reading it because, I don't know, it just seems to fit the narrative that you have this man telling his tale in a tavern, and to listen to the man tell his tale while you read it just seems appropriate. It's just so very, very good. And I honest to goodness love this so much. I bought the special 10th anniversary edition. Like, I have 200 and I think like 60 odd pages left, but I also, like, I'm not ready to be done with it because I know that at the end of the story there's not going to be a resolution because it's a trilogy. But this is my favorite thing so far in this taste test. But my last book came, so I have 3 more books for the taste test once this is done. So that's probably the only sense of urgency, is getting through this so I can get to the other 3. It's very rare that I want to savor a book, and I will be shocked if either of the next 3 hold a candle to this one or in any way. They may be very good on their own, but I don't know if they'll be good like this is good. It's so, so well done. I just absolutely love it. I love this. It's like the Ballad of Cloth, and I love it. So yeah, that's my update for now. I guess I'll come back when I finish it, and I probably will read Skyward next because I kind of feel like I'll need like a light YA. And then the last 2 books are kind of heavy, I think. It's the Joe Abercrombie and the Locke Lamore one. So I think I'll read Skyward after this and take a nice little break with some YA, which should be good. And then, yeah, but first I gotta finish this guy. So I'm gonna go back to reading because I really, really enjoy this. I will be back. Hello, my friends. It is time for a little vloggy update. I've done so much filming this week. I don't know who I am, but you know, I'm trying to be a better booktuber. I'm trying to take this seriously because I take my bookstagram very seriously, and yeah, so we're just gonna keep taking this seriously. That's why I have makeup on. I don't look like the normal troll person that I am. Anywho, so I have a little bit of a reading update for y'all. I decided to start Skyward because I was reading something else and I disliked it so much. I love this. I am like over 200 pages in. I think that Spensa I love her. I love that there's a glowworm. I love any sort of talking, sort of semi-sentient AI. Like, I'm always down for that. Like a la the Thunderhead or the AI in Illuminae, or the robot whose name is escaping me from not Guardians of the Galaxy, you know what I mean, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I love that. Like, I'm all about that. So this, going swimmingly, love this. I like that there isn't even so far a heavy romance element. Sorry, I hear like a truck. Like, is it strictly necessary truck? I love that there isn't a heavy romance element to this yet. I'm assuming at some point there's going to be, but not right now, right? So I'm good. I like the friendship vibes. Like, I'm all about friendship vibes. I want more friendship vibes. Even if your friendship's with an AI, like, or a glowworm, I'm all about it. Like, give me more of that. So this is going so well, and I'm very happy that this is my first Brandon Sanderson, because I feel like it's very easy to introduction to his writing, because it's YA and not adult, and I love him, and it's just gonna make me read more things from him. Like, hello, Mistborn, need to read you. Anyway, update on The Name of the Wind, because remember, I'm savoring this one. I am 400 and something pages in. It's 662 pages, so my goal is to finish these 2 today. I am still loving this. I'm still trying to savor it, but my goal is to finish these today, if not by tomorrow morning, so that I can get to the last 2 books in this taste test and some more reading for the month. But like, these 2 beat the first 2 like by miles in terms of how good they are. I was watching another Merphy Napier video where she wraps up some of her 2019 favorites. Must you scratch and make noise? Yes, you must, because you are a dog. And she talks a little bit more about Pet Sematary, and I guess as an exercise on exploring different ways of different kinds of grief, Pet Sematary was interesting, but like in general, I don't know. Like, if we're going to talk about it as a horror book, or as like supposed to be like a thrillery, scary book, no, it was, to me, it missed the mark. And if we're going to talk about it in terms of that, as like looking at grief, maybe that would change my rating and make me be like, yeah, it gets however many stars, more because of it. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the problem with Stephen King, is that we expect Stephen King to be scary. So when it's not scary, it's like he's missed the mark. So it's almost like he's penned in by his own genre and fame. I don't know. But I guess if you have more things you guys want me to try from Stephen King, you can tell me. But like, I just don't think that he's my writer. But who knows? Anyway, that's enough of an update, I think. Like, y'all get the point. I'm reading books. I just really want to get back to reading these. They're so good, and I don't want to waste any more time. And in case anybody cares about timing, it is now Wednesday on some week that is now sometime in the month of May. Yeah, I'm doing a really good time documenting this. It's going to take me all month to get through all these books. But these books would be 23 and 24. I don't know. I'm doing really good on my read 30 books in 30 days. I'm doing really well, maybe, if we want to use English. And I'm going to stop talking so that I can finish this, guys. So, welcome to my dirty bench. My wonderful best friend Matt made me this bench, and I painted it this beautiful cobalt blue last year. But we're gonna read outside for a little bit because I want to. I thought about making a fire, but then I was like, that's a lot of effort. It's probably gonna drop way too low, and I don't think I want to stay out here that long. But I did want to stop in and say, so it's still Wednesday. Another day has not passed. I have finished Skyward, and it was glorious. 5-star read. Love this. Brandon Sanderson, you need to exist in my life more. I think what I really loved about this, more than anything else, was the fact that, one, he didn't dumb down the language. He used some higher reading level language than I'm used to for YA books, and I'm all for that. I think, frankly, some of the language he used is missing in a lot of adult books. I feel like reading comprehension has dropped precipitously in the last generation, you know, on average, and maybe that's just my mother's voice coming out, but we're just gonna stuff that right back down. But yeah, so I absolutely love this. I thought it was very action-packed, and sorry, it's weird when I go outside. I feel like my neighbors think I'm crazy, so I speak very differently, I've noticed, but I feel like it's very action-packed. I feel like Sansa, I want to call her Sansa. I feel like I'm mixing up Game of Thrones. Spensa is like ballsy and young and courageous, and she has like a really great arc of growth in this story, and I absolutely love her. And I love that there isn't an actual romance in this. There was like the beginning of one with Jerkface. Also, I love that somebody's call sign is Jerkface. Like, that's what I would have done. I think that's why I like her. I think there's a lot of us. I think that's why, I mean, it's definitely why Merphy Napier liked this book, is because she sees herself in Spensa, like her younger self in Spensa. And I think I see some of my younger self in Spensa. Like, I think that I'm a little bit of a wimp now, but I think when I was younger, and if you ask my dad, he always, like, when I tell him about my fears and stuff and the things that hold me back, he's like, that's not who you were when you were younger. And I don't know what happened between like 15 and, you know, like 30, but I've become a lot less courageous and ballsy and I used to be but like this reminds me of the Alyssa I used to know. But it was so good. And there's glowworm. The glowworm's funny. The AI is funny. There's humor and action and friendship and family a little bit. Camaraderie. Like, it's just, I really enjoyed it. I love that these kids come to be the saviors in some ways of this society, or and I can't wait to see what happens in the second book, because I'm now gonna have to get, what is the next one, Starsight? I'm gonna have to get the next one to see where we go from here. I'm excited to read the second one of this, and I'm so glad that I'm doing this taste test, because I wouldn't have read this otherwise. I was kind of like, I don't, sci-fi itself and space is kind of a genre that I'm like wary of for some reason, which I don't understand, because I loved Illuminae and I loved this, and I guess the next place I have to go is Red Rising, because Red Rising is adult, and then we'll find out if I like space stuff. But like, I feel like I actually like sci-fi and space stuff, and it's weird for me to admit that for some reason, but I think that's the case. So like, this was really exciting, and I'm happy that I'm done with it. It's going to pick up my actual favorite. Like, we know I love this. Like, we all know that unless something dramatic happens in the next 200 pages, this is getting a 5-star review, because I love it. So I made some tea, and we're going to read. And that is it. That's all that's happening. And I thought I'd sit on the bench outside for as long as I can, because it's gonna get cold, I think, in a little bit, but we're gonna enjoy it. And maybe I'll stop whispering at some point when I'm outside. I know when I'm inside I project quite a bit, but outside I get really self-conscious. So yeah, sorry about that. If it's hard to hear me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it's hard to hear me. Yeah. So I got a surprise today, and that is that I got downstaffed from work because our patient census was a little low. So that means I got extra time to read. So, updates on my reading. I finished The Name of the Wind last night. I was gonna go to bed, but I just had to keep reading and reading and reading and reading. And like, what an ending. I need to start the second one. I have it coming. It should be here on Monday, I think. I'm super excited by this whole series. Ignore my dog drinking in the background. But yeah, I love this, and I really hope that he does write a third one. And if he doesn't write a third one, can I petition for Brandon Sanderson to write the third one if for some reason it never gets written? Like, that would be great. I feel like I need to stop forgetting that I have this camera in my hand because I keep going, whoop. It's not for dramatic effect, it's that I forget I'm holding it. But yeah, I absolutely love this. 5 stars. Like, I think I already said this was 5 stars before I ever even finished. I've talked about it all over my Instagram. I abso-freaking-lutely love this book. You can tell. Look at all the tabs. I love it. And then today I started my Joe Abercrombie, the first of the First Law trilogy, and I am enjoying it. I don't think I'm enjoying it as much as The Name of the Wind, but I am enjoying it. It's grittier and darker and more violent, and Hemi really wants me to take him out, but I am enjoying it. I'm about 200 and something pages in. It just switched. I just started part 2. I'm in one chapter in part 2, and I wasn't prepared for it to just like switch to a new set of stories. Like, who's this chick now? So I don't know. I feel like I need to just get through this first book and I will understand this whole world. I like Nine Fingers. I like the Magi. I don't like anybody else. I don't think. Yeah, everybody else I could kind of care less about. But so far I like those two. I like them particularly together. So like this is making me happy. I need to see what this whole part 2 thing is about. I'm understanding why Joe Abercrombie has like a whole following, because his writing's really good. And it's definitely gritty and dark and violent. And it's kind of like what I like high fantasy to be like. Yeah, so I'm excited with this one. And then once I'm done with this, I just have one book left. So I'm going to try really hard to finish this tonight. It's another 300 pages, or most of it tonight, so that I can finish it by tomorrow. And then I can move on to The Lies of Loch Lamore, because everybody tells me that I'm going to absolutely love that book because I love Six of Crows and all the other things that I like. They're like, you're going to absolutely adore it. So, and I can't believe I've never heard of it other than in this review. But then again, I haven't dove very deep into the world of fantasy, especially high fantasy and adult fantasy and epic fantasies and all of that. So I'm really loving this whole journey, and I'm so glad that I did it with Merphy Napier. I feel like I realized that I have this unknown love of fantasy. I just didn't know what to read in any of that, because I think there's a very popular like YA book bent to the bookish social medias, which is great, and I do love a good YA. If you follow me, you know that. Fantasy, you know, mostly YA fantasy, but like some contemporaries, romance. I love YA, but that's not the only thing I love, and I really like going into, let me try to explain this better. So I feel like I've read a lot of adult fiction, like very adult fiction, that's like highbrow fiction, and I read a lot of YA fantasy, and I feel like epic adult fantasies are like the cross between those two things that I love. And I'm really excited that I'm getting into this. My dog is now licking the coffee table, so I'm gonna go because I think he wants to go OUT. And when I get back, we're gonna get back to reading this. Don't mind him. I'm gonna take care of their needs, and I'm gonna get back to the weird, gritty world of First Law. Just remember, you can't talk to demons. No talking to the undead. So I just realized that at some point my dogs must have like licked my lens and I didn't notice it. So I apologize that this entire clip of me updating you is just filled with like a doggy nose lick or nose snot or a lick. I don't know. They definitely slobbered on my lens because I forgot to put the lens cap on. I left it on the coffee table. And now, for your viewing pleasure, the doggy filter. Okay, I don't know what horrific angle this is going to be, but I'll come down to y'all. So, what's happening? I haven't updated you in a while. You don't know that because I'm editing this, so it seems like it was just a second ago. But it's been a while. It's been a few days. I have finished, not this one. I have finished, try that again. I finished The Blade Itself, and by Joe Abercrombie, and I really liked this book. I thought it was really gritty and raw, and I understand why people like, I've heard people like the naughty librarians say that they can only do Joe Abercrombie in like one a month, because it is like kind of graphic, kind of like violently graphic and crazy and all that, but like Logan, like Nine Fingers, is amazing. I don't know if I'm actually in any of these shots, so I'm just gonna put my electrolyte powder in my drink. because I actually worked out for the first time in like probably legitimately a year. I definitely have let myself go a little bit in terms of muscle, so we're gonna fix that. Anyway, so I finished the last blade, the blade itself. I really love this. Joe Nine Fingers, or Joe Nine Fingers, Logan Nine Fingers. Nine Fingers is amazing. I can't talk anymore. I didn't do that hard of a workout, but it's the first one I've done in a while, and I worked today, so I didn't want to go crazy. But so I just cycled for like 30 minutes, and I used my Active, which I don't know if any of you guys use Active. I've been using it for years. But like they have all these home workouts you can do, and they're really, really good. I like for cycling because the studio that's near me is like almost an hour away, and I'm sure my gym has it, but like I don't really like my gym, so I don't go there. And you know, everything's closed right now anyway, so we can add that to the list of reasons why I think Active is great. I also need coffee because my brain doesn't work when I don't have coffee. So yeah, so that's why I'm brain dead. But yeah, I love the Joe Abercrombie. What am I even saying? Like 4 stars. I can't wait to continue. Baez is hilarious, and I need to see more from that character. My only real complaint so far, and I'm hoping it gets rectified as the series goes on, because yes, I'm heating up my coffee. I'm too lazy to make a new pot, and there's perfectly good coffee in there. You're not my guest. If you were my guest, I'd make you fresh coffee. This is just for caffeine. Anyway, I know it's gross. But anyway, what was I saying? I hope that there are more badass women that show up in this. I don't need a ton, because if you remember my previous rant about how, like, especially in YA, there's too many like badass women, and they all have like a kingdom, and they're all fighting, or like they're lady assassins, and like it's very rote at this point. And I've been looking for a little bit more male dominated stuff, which I guess means that you go to adult fantasy, because in adult fantasy it's definitely more male oriented. I'm sorry if the camera keeps moving, but I'm trying to do like 16 things. Stop fighting. So, what was I saying before the dog spot? This is gonna be a horrible update. Yeah, so I wanted a little bit more like balance, and not just have all these like female driven plot lines. And these are definitely very male driven. Like, I would like to see a nice balance. I guess that's my point. So I'm hoping that there's these 2 women that they've just kind of introduced in book 1. I'm hoping that they take a more predominant role in the rest of the series, but I don't know. Anyway, I started the Lies of Locke Lamora yesterday. I got about 200 pages in. It is really good. I am not going to fly through that one. It's the last book I have on this taste test, and it's really, really good. I can see, stop it dogs, I can see the similarities to Six of Crows. I can see the similarities between Locke and Kaz, but I think Kaz is a lot darker. And as much as I like Locke, Locke is like humorous and cocky, and Kaz is like dark and confident, if that makes any sense. Like, I find Kaz sexy. I find Locke like, he alright. Like, he's funny. Like, I want him to be my friend. I want to hear about his antics. I want to grab a beer with him, but I don't find him sexy. Kaz is sexy, and maybe it's the like, he can never touch you. Isn't that tragic? I have a thing for like moody boys. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm gonna get my day started. I'm in the middle of like 3 books, one of them being Lies of Locke Lamora. I'm gonna try to finish at least one of them today. I have work today. It's 8 a.m. on a Monday. It's Memorial Day, and this is like the big money day. I work a holiday. I love working holidays, except for Christmas. Christmas is my jam. That will make me sad. So it's my year for Christmas too. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I will update you guys when I finish the Lies of Locke Lamora, and then we will wrap up this taste test, and I will somehow find a way to edit all these horrible updates. I feel like this has been my worst vlogging, like update vlog ever. I don't know why. Because I seem to keep doing this when I'm brain dead. But yeah, I'm gonna get my coffee. You can leave the hate leave your hate down below about me microwaving my coffee. Coffee and food. Goodbye. Good morning, everybody. So it is March 31st. It's the end, no, it's May 31st. It's the end of the month. It's a Sunday. I have the day off. And I read all of my books for my Merphy Napier taste test. If you hear click, click, clacking, it's because my little dog's behind you. Actually, my big dog's behind you. They're both big, let's be honest. Anyway, Timmy's behind the camera. So we're having a quiet morning this morning, and then I have lots to do today. But I wanted to just take a second to wrap up the taste test and to let you know what I thought. I'm hoping the wind isn't too bad out here. I thought it would be nice to be outside. It's really okay. So I think the wind's dying down. The dogs are done barking at the neighbor. Let's talk. We're gonna go a little backwards. Maybe not completely chronologically backwards, but let's go backwards. Because let's start with the last Lockmore, which I finished a couple days ago, but I haven't had a chance to give you an update because I've had family here and stuff. I absolutely love this. I love it that the whole setup is that there's a heist gone wrong. There's a cocky, ne'er-do-well thief who actually doesn't. He has a fuck up, and he has to unwind himself from all of that. It's funny, it's clever, the world is beautifully written. I can't wait to continue on with this, and I have some people that are going to continue on with this for me, so I am really glad I read this. This was 4 or 5 stars, I can't remember, it doesn't really matter. It was really good. The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie. Loved this. So good. So good. Again, this is like 4 or 5 stars. It's very gritty. Baez was hilarious. I can't wait to continue on. I have the next 2 in this series. Total success. I think this whole taste test was such a success. Obviously, Name of the Wind, need I say more, is so good. So good. My second the second book came a little while ago, and hopefully I can get to that. Maybe not in June, but by July maybe I can get to that. Skyward was such a pleasant surprise because I had never was interested in this book when I heard about it, but then through this, just being forced to read it. Hello, Brandon Sanderson, where have you been all my life? Again, I'm really sorry about the wind. I just thought this was really nice to be outside. I've been in the hospital and here, there, and everywhere, so it's just kind of nice to sit outside. So, you know, if it's a little windy, I'm sorry. Anyway. On Luna Time was so sweet. I love this little indie published author, and I'm gonna read the second one soon, and I don't have it in a TBR or anything yet, but I'm gonna read it soon because I really enjoyed this. I thought it was just a nice, sweet escape. And then the only book I really didn't like from this taste test was Sematary, and it's not that I didn't, it's just not for me. I don't think it wasn't bad. It's just not for me. I don't know if Stephen King is my writer. I think it was terrible. I don't think he's my writer. So all in all, I think like a 5 out of 6, like knocking it out of the park. This was a good test. I'm gonna go because the wind's picking up and the dogs are just taking over, and I brought books to read and a lawn to mow and errands to run and so many things to do on my one day off. So good morning, good evening, good night. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I also need to get to editing this vlog that's now going to be filled with wind. It's chaos. This vlog has turned into chaos. You're supposed to be eating breakfast. Bye, guys.